We are in the BI Platform studio and I'm speaking with Satyam Arora, Head of Commercial Analytics at Philips. Welcome, Satyam.
Thank you.
Can you briefly tell us about your background and your tasks at Philips?
Sure. I have a background of finance and strategy. I was heading an equity research desk at one of the brokers in New York. And then later I moved on to Philips after almost a decade of my career in equity research. In Philips, I was first in leading the market strategy team and now leading the commercial analytics team, which is responsible for performance analytics, which is responsible for marketing mix modeling and retailer analytics.
Okay. Well, in your line of business, with equity as well as with Philips, data quality is key, probably.
Absolutely.
Can you address some of the issues related to this?
Sure. There is a simple saying, trash in, trash out, and that applies to data quality. So we have to ensure that the data that goes into our analytics is of top-notch quality. We do work with a lot of vendors which provides us data, sometimes the daily data adding up, not to the weekly numbers. Or for instance, we get a lot of media data. Are they in line and talking in the same language? We get different formats from our retailer and counterparts. Are they all in the same template? Are they all comprehensive enough for us to run our analytics? And that's where we face a lot of challenges, and that's where the data quality becomes quite important.
Okay. And your team plays an important role in promoting data-driven decision making?
Yes.
What are the basic conditions and constraints?
Sure. I think the biggest constraint and a condition for making a data-driven decision making is change management. We need to be acceptable to the fact that human biases have to be separate of data-driven decisions. We need to give data a chance to tell what we need to do. In our roles, in our experience, which is quite exhaustive for many of us, we do see that there are challenges when it comes to accepting what is against what you're initially thinking or your hypothesis. So that is one of the biggest constraints, that you let data talk. The second biggest constraint is machine cannot do everything for you. Of course, we are in the phase of AI, we are embracing AI, machine learning, but it is extremely important that business context, human intervention, human experience will play a role in putting that result into actionable recommendations. So that is critical. Data will not give you recommendations. Data will tell you what the story is. You have to put that into recommendations by doing things yourself, and that's where the work of the machine stops. So accepting that is also critically important. You will not put everything on the machine that this is what the data is telling me or this is what a particular program is telling me. Moving one step forward, adding the right business context, adding the right business logic, adding the right experience and your position in the firm and in the sort of a market standing plays a very important role in making that actionable recommendations and decisions made.
Okay. Can you give us an example based on your experience at Philips?
Sure. When we talk about any brand, Philips in this case, gaining or losing market share, we have certain hypotheses that because of certain activities or because of less promotions or because of a particular product, we are losing market share. This hypothesis needs to be separate from data analytics. What we then do is to run the assessment to understand whether it was because of promotion, because of media spends, because of a particular price point that we are not into, a particular event like a Black Friday or a Prime Day. I think these are critically important for us to understand. They talk and provide the leadership a view as to what is the root cause, and that helps us to fix going forward. And it's very important to also look at the competitive lens in the world where you are not just the only player in any product for that matter. It's very important how you are doing versus your competition. That's where also data plays a role. You need to be fast, you need to be faster than others, and that's where we see winning or losing matters a lot.
Yeah. In the keynote that you will be presenting at the Data Expo in September, you propose a 5-step approach.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about the background and some of the lessons learned?
Sure. There have been many instances in my previous role, also in Philips, where we do a fantastic analysis based on scenarios, based on some deep dives and predictive, also advanced analytics. It doesn't make the way through, and we still see that we continue to be in the same loop of activities which we were in. And that brings me to the point that why is that happening? Why is the conclusion not reaching the end result when we have said something, why it is not turning out to be true? And that's where that 5-step approach comes in from my background. The first step is very simple. It's about contextualization of your data, of the conclusions that the data is generating. And that's where I said the job of the machine stops. All the steps which I'm talking about now is not about data processing, not about analytics. It's about making analytics absorbed in the data-driven decisions. Once you have contextualized the results, then it's about creating actionable recommendations. Most of the organizations, most of the team stops there. But I think communicating, that's the third step, is extremely important. How you communicate with the right business logic, with the right angle which suits your organization. It's not about the data is saying this, let's do this. Every organization cannot take every action plan. There are multiple other constraints. Sometimes you don't have the money to do that. Sometimes you need to be creative. Communication with the right individual organization perspective then becomes important. Fourth step becomes creating an action plan around it, or a step-by-step implementation plan. And lastly, which is very important for every planning, is a feedback loop. The feedback loop is extremely important to see where are things stopping, and if it's an internal issue or something market driven, and that needs another corrective step of actions.
Okay. And when you look at the developments in the analytics area, which developments or trends do you foresee?
So I think it is extremely important to understand that we are embracing, as I mentioned, AI, machine learning, big data. That is leading to a lot of automation. What cannot be done or what cannot be automated is what the industry will lean forward. All the insights or all the, let's say, happenings around the world can be put into the data, and the data will give you an assessment of how you should be moving. That drives us, or the next step to that is driving a profitable category growth. If you are thinking about winning market share, you will lose it. It's not about winning market share, it's about growing the pie. It's about growing the category growth, and that is the responsibility of firms like ours to ensure that it's not just about us, it's about the category in general, and we have to do it profitably, because profit is a key to sustenance. If you are spending too much and not making money, it's not a long-lasting, a sustainable way of growing the category. So I think the world of analytics and the world of insights is gradually more and more deeping towards the profitable category growth, and that's where we will see most of the attention in times to come.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Satyam.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.